r/ask Reddit. What's something that looked fun, but you realized it was horrible once you tried it? Shaving my legs. When I was too young to shave, I wanted to so badly. Now I avoid it for as long as possible. Goes for facial hair too. I was so excited and adult when my grandpa gave me my first electric razor, around 16. Almost 20 years later and I've shaved to bare skin maybe a dozen times. Now, freshly shaved legs in clean sheets feels so freaking awesome. I suggest everyone give it a go at least once. Edit. AI Terabadi. Yeah, I'm a dude. Mom. Was hilarious. I've shaved everything at least once. 4. Science. As stated below, the taint and my pits were a one-off and never again. As for the rest, we'll see what tomorrow brings. My favorite thing my dad has ever said to me: I bought a 10-pack of razors in 1972 and I'm on the second one. Those foot vibrating machines at amusement parks, zoos, etc. that are supposed to make you feel better after walking around all day. Saw some kids sitting on the metal plate instead, laughing. Asked my dad for some quarters. Tried to do the same thing. The force of the vibration caused me to shart immediately. The force of the vibration caused me to shart immediately. I'm gonna need some extra information here. It made the brown noise. Live action roleplay. It looks like fun adult dress up fighting, but it ended up being a bunch of sweaty guys in badly made tunics hitting me with padded sticks. Join the SCAR. Then you can be with a bunch of sweaty guys in well-made tunics hitting each other with padded sticks, or poking each other with rubber-tipped steel swords. So much upvote for the SCAR. They are everywhere in the US and they are much more about role-playing medieval life too. It's ducking awesome. Playing D&D with strangers. This sounds like my nightmare. It's like roulette, but instead of winning money you get to find out some randos' extremely niche fetishes. When I was a kid I kept seeing these kids with casts because they broke their arm or their wrist or their ankle, and I was so bummed because I'd never broken a bone. Then 3rd grade came and I broke my wrist in 3 places and my thumb in 2, and turns out it ducking sucks wrapping your arm up like a loaf of bread to take a shower. We at r/never broke your bone, pity you and your soft and weakly bones. I found my people. I have had so many things that totally should have, but I have made it to 22 without any broken bones ever. Captive work outings. Example, we have organized an afternoon boat tour. It means you will be crammed into smaller space, blasted with shitty music and expected to be friendly to people you are only around because you are paid to be. For 4-5 hours, you'll accomplish nothing of value, and your bosses think this is a reward. Ugh. This was a huge problem at my last job. My social life took a massive hit because I was spending 10-hour days in the office and constantly got sucked into social events. For example, the office provided free dinner every day, and it looked really weird to go home and eat dinner with your actual friends. I also used to play a lot of Smash Brothers with my coworkers, and they looked at me weird for wanting to stop after a while. Apparently, 2 hours wasn't enough, even if it was 9 or 10 PM. I prefer making friends with people outside of work. Things are more genuine because there's no office politics involved, and it gives you a break from work. What kind of ducking cult did you work at? Being a flight attendant. Yeah, if I were to ever go back into the airline industry, I would definitely do something not customer facing. A lot of travelers are jackasses. Edit. Okay, yes, a lot of people are jackasses. Thanks. Also, while it's very true the flying experience isn't desirable, you're being an a-hole if you're being a dong to the gate agents or flight attendants. In most situations, they have little to no control over the problems you've had to face. Are some gate agents and flight attendants a-holes sometimes? Sure, they're human too and no one's perfect. But I would guess their irritability has a lot to do with dealing with a-holes earlier in the day, week, month, etc. How about we all just be a little nicer to each other? It's the dream we all dream of, non-customer facing in any industry. Edit. Well, my highest upvoted comment ever. Thanks, customers. I stole the line from Prince. Anime conventions. I actually had a good time at the comic conventions I've gone to, but for some reason the anime ones have been smelly, overpriced, creepy, and downright disturbing in some aspects. I have never had my ass groped so many times in one day. I'm a guy BTW. Oh man, you should check out 2 Core AE for Comfort on YouTube. Genius dark comedy series about the worst road trip to an anime con ever. Edit. I had no idea this comment would blow up like this. Thank you all so much. A bunch of you actually watched the series for the first time, causing views to go through the roof and the creators to post a video update. Seriously, this made my ducking life. So the channel doesn't have a lot of subscribers. I discovered Rhino Stew after they made the ASMR bank robbery video, which I love so much I had to check out their other stuff. I immediately watched 2 Core AE for Comfort all the way through, and fell in love with the horrifically cringy, tragic, comic, wonderfully human story. Like a lot of you feel now, I was excited for the finale, so I went to find their Patreon only to see they took it down. The team is waiting to have the resources and the viewership necessary to invest in a really dope finale, and I think all of y'all checking it out helped accelerate it. It's also really crazy to see my Reddit comment on one of their videos. LOL. This was such an unexpectedly awesome day for me, so thank you. As I type this comment, my husband is creating r/2 Core AE for Comfort, and it would be rad to have other fans to discuss the show with. So come hang out if you're interested. That sounds terribly awesome. I'll watch it. Thanks. Bungee jumping. Free fall is always awesome, but the second and a half of free fall is not worth the cracking of the whip that's hard on your body if you do it wrong. Today I learned there are non-fatal ways to do bungee jumping wrong. In my case, they told me to do like a backwards dive off the platform. Problem was that I didn't commit to it enough, so I was still kind of parallel to the ground when the rubber band caught. Created a crack the whip action that did not feel good. Man, did my dad upsell mowing the lawn when I was a kid. He made it a thing my brothers and I aspired to do. We knew when we were old enough and responsible enough to mow the lawn we would officially be big kids. Turns out it's way more fun to sit on the sidelines with a popsicle. My brother and I loved it because we had a riding lawn mower and it would be years before we could drive a car. Jumping on a trampoline as a 235-pound adult. My exact thoughts. I bought an hour at a trampoline park. 5 minutes later I died, then tried to jump in the foam pit and it took me a full 10 minutes to get back out. It's hell trying to get out of the foam pit. Somehow you sink deeper into the depths of hell when you're trying to escape. Sex on a beach. Sounds fun and romantic, but even if you have a towel, you still end up with sand everywhere, which is not fun at all. Settle down, Anakin. He can't because no one wants to have children around him. Shower sex. Water makes a poor lubricant. More importantly, the angles are all messed up. You need a big shower and a bench or seat. Not to mention standing sex in a shower, if you don't want to half-ass it, is just asking to fall and die. Paragliding. My boyfriend and I were on this magnificent trip and decided to have no FOMO and go paragliding in the German Alps. My god, the views were spectacular, but my god did I have to do everything in my power not to barf all over the views. I didn't realize that the motion sickness I get in twisty car rides would transfer during this activity, only 100x more intense. The guide I was attached to swiftly handed me a bath bag but thanked me profusely for not using it when we landed because apparently it was full of holes. LOL, why was it full of holes? It had been jammed into his harness gear, so I would like to imagine just wear and tear, and not sabotage. Fruit stripe gum. This is more of a childhood example, but damn if it doesn't fit this description. Riding a mechanical bull at my 33rd birthday party. Felt that for 3 days after. I rode one around the same age and didn't have a problem. I rode one again a few years ago when I was 42 and I'm just starting to feel better. I'm 45 now. Bubble soccer. The first time I got laid out I was not amused. Then I accidentally punched myself in the nose after getting hit another time. Oh god. We played this as one of our annual work team building exercises. The teams were head office versus factory. The factory boys went all out and made sure the people for head office knew how we felt about them. But hey, team building, eh? The only time I played it, the Zorb bubble was scratched so it was hard to see where the soccer ball was. That, and I broke my toe after 2 minutes. Snowboarding is not as easy as it looks. and you can break your ribs and ass bone in the process of learning. Oh, but once you figure it out, shit's tight. But really, I have a numb spot over my right ass cheek from falling on ice 2 years ago. I thought I broke my back at the time. Your poor coccyx. Being able to last forever in bed. It's only fun for a little bit, but girls don't really like it when you go for 2 hours and don't come. For so many years I had the issue of either lasting around 5 minutes or lasting well over 2 hours. It was entirely random, but I could always tell as soon as I began which one it was going to end up being. Edit. Damn, my most liked comment is this? Was same for me. I think what helps is getting me really fired up before actual sex. Teasing. Talking dirty. Whatever kinks. Get super turned on and then stick it in and I'm pretty much already there. Then you can go for however long round 2 without worrying about a feeling bad you didn't finish. Homemade zip slides. I went on one at a scout camp. Almost broke my pelvis. My friend's dad used to build all sorts of fun stuff when we were kids. The zip line was the best. We wanted to improve upon it, but we were 10 years old and weren't engineers. Like he was. We found a laundry basket and tied it using some jump ropes. It worked very well, until the end. It hit and turned the basket into a swing which we rolled out of and onto the ground. A ground covered in acorns and stickers. Her dad was actually impressed the basket didn't fall off and the ropes didn't snap. He loved when we did things like that because he was able to turn it into physics lessons. We always limped away a bit smarter. Fast food every time. Yeah, their photography is great, but what you get looks nothing like that. I feel like I've eaten sadness. I think Burger King smells great when I drive by it, but I had a craving for a Whopper when I was pregnant and I almost puked in the parking lot after eating it. My stepmom tells this same story. She said once mid-pregnancy, she craved a burger so much, and made my dad go to the drive-thru and get Burger King. A few minutes after finishing it she threw it all up. Apparently meat is a common trigger for morning sickness. Morning sickness is actually a useful evolutionary trait to shield the fetus from potential toxins. As such, it peaks right when the fetal sensitivity to toxins is at its highest, around 12 weeks. I guess if you add a potentially dangerous food like meat, toxin bacteria wise, then add that to a fast food restaurant with perhaps less than stellar ingredients, hygiene, food prep etc. It's an accident waiting to happen. Edit. I am copying my answer in a request for sources here, as a few people are asking for these and seem to be under the impression I invented this idea regarding the purpose of morning sickness out of thin air. Though I do admit my comment suggesting the horrors of fast food as potentially harmful to a fetus was a tad hasty, and made me sound a bit of a quack. For that one I do apologize. Here, open bracket. The second link is best. 1 and 3 are just abstracts. Here are a couple. Unfortunately lots are abstracts and are behind a paywall. But it is perhaps a start. https://www.gov.pub/17,002,954. The point regarding meat and fats provoking more nausea than other foods. https://academic up comhumrep article 2511 2907 654348. The link between no morning sickness and abortions. This is perhaps the best one, as it is a full article and you can follow their own citations, in particular one exploring the link between morning sickness and exposure of the fetus to teratogens. Dates as early as 1989. https://www.gov.pub/10,858,967. General summing up of all the points. Graduating high school. The thought of being independent and free from all the baggage that was school doesn't seem so great when you realize you have to jump into the adult world blind and confused as to what the duck even is your life. Counter narrative. No longer being a student and being independent is the best. I hated education. Yeah, I thought the world was ending when I graduated college, but turns out having money is pretty fun. Drink nights at museums. Am I the only one who wants to dress up nice, sip classy drinks, and look at stolen relics and dead animals like some kind of hoity-toity toff? It was just a club night in the museum, complete with bad music, club horns, trashy people, and woo girls. Where's my high society? Drink nights at museums. Am I the only one who wants to dress up nice, sip classy drinks, and look at stolen relics and dead animals like some kind of hoity-toity toff? Yep, I had the same expectations and was similarly disappointed. They should put on the ticket. Warning. There will be more than 8 other people in the entire museum and almost none of them will be wearing toffets and monocles. Cheating in a relationship. Yeah, at first it seems like a good idea, having more than one person who you can do things with. But then you think about the person you're with, how much it would hurt them. Plus it calls into question your own ethics and honor code. And at least for me, it's horrible. I have a friend who still constantly cheats on his wife, and will probably never change. And I feel both pity and disgust towards him. If you're in a terrible relationship, leave. If you're happy, don't cheat. It's pretty simple. Some of it is maturity, but a lot of times, at least for me, it was because of insecurity and not truly understanding what a relationship is all about. If you truly love someone, you won't cheat, because you would never want to do something that would hurt them. Right? Like guys brag about it and I'm not like envious. I feel bad for you. It seems like it sucks. Wanted to go play with those tiger babies and wolf pups at the zoo type places till I watched a documentary about how those animals are sold to practice hunting farms when they grow old and aren't cute to play with anymore. These are the places where the tigers and lions are shot within a cage so people can get their trophies easier. These animals have been around humans all their lives and then some person comes in and blasts them away. So depressing. Edit. To those who think this isn't real, hips. N.M. Wikipedia. Org Wiki Canned Hunt. There's a doc called Bloodlands as well. Don't remember if it's the one I saw though. What the actual duck? Riding in a hot air balloon. I dreamed about it for years. Got it as a birthday present. And threw up over the side the whole time. They had to stop the ride early. This really tall, intense water slide. I won't go into detail, but it was not pleasant. You talking about those ones where the floor drops out from under you? Because I was about to type this and post it. I'm big roller coaster lover and I'm always seeking new thrills. But these water slides are just straight up painful. The little ridges where they connect the slide pieces together bump up your back and hit the back of your head at warp speeds. Oh, I thought they were talking about how water goes up your holes if you don't clinch really hard. My first and last big water slide had me farting water afterwards. Spin class. It's an excellent workout, but I used to have to position my bike where I couldn't see the clock, because I'd look up and see that we had 25 minutes left or whatever and just want to die. Also, when you're first starting out, the pain to your vulva and bottom is excruciating. Yup, my saddle area felt like it had been rhythmically spanked with a leather paddle for 50 minutes. Excruciating is exactly the word I would use. Someone said that your saddle gets used to it, but I wasn't on board with the idea of my vulva and bottom turning into a giant callus. P.S. Love the username. After being fat 90% of my life, I actually mustered the willpower to get in shape, and now I realize all of my problems are because of me, not because I was fat. That just means you're one step closer to solving your problems. My man, you can do this. Diving. Joined the team in high school as it looked fun. It was not. Most painful sport I've ever participated in. My first attempt at a front double wound up being a 2-1 stroke 4. The water felt like concrete, and my entire front upper body looked like I had a 3rd-degree burn. The dive that got me to quit was a half gainer that I landed to the side of but behind the board. Had I not landed to the side, I would have landed in the middle of the board, collected my shit and noped the duck out of that sport then and there. My first diving competition was just a straight back dive. Now this was the first year we had a diving team ever since we had a new pool. Probably 50 kids turned out to watch just cause they thought it was funny that I was in a Speedo. First ever diving competition for the new school team, and I hit the water absolutely parallel perfect backflop from about 5 meters in the air. I have never again felt pain like that. When I surfaced, the entire pool was dead silent, and after about 15 seconds that felt like minutes, you just hear the PA announcer go failed dive. Yay, no shit, a-hole. Duck that sport. Made sectionals though. Vacuuming. They give you those vacuum toys as a kid, and you just think it's the coolest thing. Then you grow up and it sucks. I mean, it's not torture, but definitely not as fun as the toys made it seem. Where are my balls that pop around in the vacuum while I move it around the floor? Just because I'm an adult doesn't mean I still don't have a short attention span. Oh look. Shiny stuff. I personally love vacuuming. Having a light and powerful vacuum makes a huge difference. It's easy and fun. I've got one. Marvin's Magic Drawing Board. My sister U/Rin Scout and I saw the infomercials when we were young. It looked amazing. I think it was like 3 easy payments of $9.99. The thing was basically a rainbow background with a gap, and then a clear film. So when you press the film, color shows through, but it never worked anything like the infomercial. We literally used it that day only. Sucked. And do you remember how long it took to save for that? We were looking under couch cushions for spare change for months. Shower sex. I mean, sure, I'm naked. You're naked. Let's be naked together. I'm down with that. But do we really need to do it in a little glass box where there's soap on the floor and not really enough room for both of us? Do we really need to pretend that we're not both just trying to stay under the hot water for long enough to stay warm, but that the pressure isn't enough for both of us to manage it at once? Can we at least acknowledge that water is a terrible lubricant, so any actual sex, even if it was possible without us both clumsily pawing at each other, is going to be unpleasant for us both? And even if it did work, we've still got to shower off after the fact. Which means, what, exactly? We've got to take shifts so we can both get clean properly? One of us just has to stand outside, freezing their ass off, while the other one spends 10 minutes washing their hair? I'm 30. I have a perfectly good bed. Let's do this right. Guy here. It took having anal sex with a woman to make me realize that I really wasn't into it. Kinda turned me on in certain porn movies, but in real life it just freaked me out. Exploring caves. It sounded amazing. Then I spent 8 hours knee deep in bat shit and crawling, or more accurately jamming my body through tiny passages face down, in the dark, with all types of vermin crawling on me in a 98° Fahrenheit hole in the ground. Then they were nice enough to tell me the most common cause of death is something called a dead hang. It's when you fall in a hole and get tangled in your climbing ropes and they can't find you or get you out. You just hang there all mangled up until you die. And that waterfall you can hear but can't see? I bet it's beautiful, but it's probably one of those places you could fall into pretty easily. Then when you're hours away from where you entered this hellhole and you've been in complete darkness for long enough, you get this feeling of dread they call the rapture. You'll give anything to get it out of there and see the sun again, but it's not possible. It will a very long time before you get out. It was an experience I am glad I had, but I'd never do it again. This makes me anxious just to read. That's gonna be a no from me. Getting my foot run over by a car. For some reason thought it wouldn't hurt and it would be fun, so when my friend's mum drove the car into my driveway I stuck my foot right under the tire, and as it went over my foot it crushed my foot and I screamed out and made her feel incredibly guilty for my blatant stupidity. I'm sorry you were born with too many chromosomes, you ducking dumbus. Commenting in an Ask Reddit thread more than 3 hours after it's been posted. Devil's threesomes. Sex with 2 men might seem like a great idea until you have 2 dudes with poor rhythm pounding your orifices at the same time. Unless these dudes have a fair bit of experiences double teaming a woman together, it's a beach to sink up enough to not be very distracted uncomfortable. Orange Theory Fitness. Everyone raved about it and loved going. I now know what hell is like and I paid $15 to be there. Fortnite. I played for a half hour and just couldn't see why people would get WoW levels of addicted. Getting a facial. They make it look so fun and relaxing, but it actually hurts so bad. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.